I can edit all this. That's the beginning. Like, I need like a buffer.
A buffer.
Yeah. To just cut it and push back and, get the audio levels.
A little bit of room.
Yeah. Like 10, 15, 20 seconds. We're good. Okay. Go. Do your thing.
All right. Do my thing. I've already forgot what my thing was, David.
Flat Rate Tech Podcast.
Just messing with you, man. You don't have to get so uptight.
Hey everybody, David here, and welcome to the 50th episode of the ASOG podcast. This week we speak to the host of the Flat Rate Tech podcast. On the 13th of September 2021, he posted an episode where he talked about opening his own shop. Wanting to set the record straight, Lucas and I reached out to him, and what resulted is what you're about to hear. But before we get started, please take a moment to hit that like button if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you like our content, please consider subscribing to the channel. If you're listening to this on your favorite podcast listening app, make sure that you're set to automatically download the latest episode so you never miss an upload. And now, here we go.
What's up, everybody? We're here with the Flat Rate Tech podcast, and Tech, which is what we're going to call him, from the Flat Rate Tech podcast. And just the other day, September 13th, right? Isn't that what we decided? He did an episode where he discussed owning his own shop and the additional money he could take home if he did own his own shop. So what's up, Tech? How you doing tonight?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I didn't actually get to hear that part where he said he was going to take extra money. I just heard that he was interested in opening his own shop, and I started laughing and laughing and laughing.
Hey,
and then like fear struck in me, and I'm like, oh, I got to help this guy out.
Yeah,
like he's got to know. He's got to know the reality.
I was telling him this story before it started. When I saw that he liked our Facebook page, I began to listen to that episode, and I was sitting on the toilet. And a few minutes later, I realized my wife is yelling at me, and she's like, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, "This guy thinks that he's going to make this extra money if he starts a shop. We've got to stop him." It's really not that bad. I promise it's not that bad. But you threw up some scenarios that I think are important to realize. And basically, you were saying, I think you said something like, maybe it was you were talking labor on a job, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you threw out this equation that currently a tech might make, generate $1,500 of revenue for a shop, and he might take home $250, right?
Right.
And so in my head, I'm running over this, and I'm thinking about the numbers that we hear from auto repair shops all over the country all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so my first thought is this: let's nail some things down. The average repair shop struggles to exceed 8% net profit. Okay?
All right.
Most of your really good repair shops might hit net 20, net 25. Right?
Right.
And so the owner could be paid. There's lots of variables. You can definitely earn a good living owning a repair shop. But my point is that the concept that shop owners are getting to keep that $1,500 is something that we see techs coming into the industry and starting their own shop time and time and time again with that belief.
Right.
And so in a way, I'm afraid for technicians who believe that, right? Let's just be honest about it. I'm afraid for them because the realization they come in and they have two concepts, or they have two thoughts that they automatically bring to the table. Number one is, I'll be able to charge these people less. My boss man's really taking these people to the cleaners, and I know what it takes to do this. I can charge them less, and I can keep more of that money. Secondly, they don't realize how much expense is involved with owning a shop. So if you were to imagine keeping 4% of that $1,500, now, if you're a tech and an owner and you're doing both of those roles and it's a small operation, yeah, you can probably put a little more in your pocket than you would at a dealership or working for somebody.
Right.
But then you have to take into account the liability, the risk associated with that. Like if you run out of work, you're the only person you can yell at. You can't just pick up and move somewhere else.
Whoa. Don't just, hit him with everything.
Yeah, let's talk about this, man. You're killing me over here.
For a second.
Well, no, I'm setting
You're crushing my dreams.
I'm setting the preface to this, right? I guess my point is, and the reason I brought that all at once is because in all reality, we keep seeing this.
Yeah. But you know what? The reason why these techs are wanting to bail and start their own shop overwhelmingly is usually poor treatment at their current location.
Right.
Dealership or independent, whatever.
Definitely.
And they're either and a lot of times it's the owner's pulling up in his nice vehicle and he's like, hey, go wash my car, hey, go change my oil, throws the keys at the tech or whatever. And I can see that. I could see like the tech pulling in the brand new Denali and just muttering under his breath going, mother effer, like I'm gonna take home a piddly ass paycheck because there was no work this week and I'm flat rate. And, my paycheck's going to be half or 60 or 75% of what it should be. Meanwhile, I'm doing oil changes on the owner's car because we're slow.
Right.
And that's not the car I'm driving every day. And so I could see that's usually the scenario, right? And at least in my head, that's what I'm picturing.
Yeah, definitely.
I've felt that before. I've been in like those situations where I'm like, it's a little bit of jealousy or whatever, right?
Right.
For some people, it could be like, I'm gonna strive to be able to do what they're doing there. But for a lot of them, it's just it's jealousy, and they get into the situation and it starts to play in their head, and they think, I'm gonna be able to get out of this. I'm gonna go open my shop. I found a little location. I've got a little circle of friends, and I've got a decent online following. 1,000, 1,500. Facebook friends or whatever, I'm going to be able to hit them all up, and I should be able to get a few customers, and maybe even doing side work on the side in the evenings and on the weekends. Is that a thing for you?
It used to be.
Yeah,
not anymore.
So what takes you from happy to be at this facility to screw this, I'm going to go open my own shop?
Well, I've been with dealerships for a little over 20 years. I never worked at an independent shop. And at one point, me and my buddies got together and we rented a shop. No lifts or nothing like that. It was just a 3,000 square foot shop with an upstairs loft. It was pretty cool. But we had race cars. So we'd park our race cars there. We'd go to work. We'd come back. We'd just be there all night just messing around. And then every once in a while, we'd do like a customer car, and we'd take, $800 off a job, and it's in our pocket. And we're like, man, we should start doing this, because when you go to work, you're only making, say, $20 an hour doing, a transmission that pays 8 hours, so you only get a couple $100, and you think in your head that the dealership's making all this money.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's how we think. We're only making just $20 an hour or whatever you make, and the dealership's charging these customers, $200 an hour for you to go and fix this car. So you're thinking they're making all this money.
$20 an hour. $20 an hour? Where?
Wow, that's not me right now. I'm saying, but back in the day,
let's say 40. Yeah, $40 an hour.
But that's just how we think. We're the ones doing the work. It all depends on the boss that you have. Like I've had bosses where they were just complete assholes, and they would just sit in their office and just sit in there, crunch numbers while you're out there working your ass off, and you're thinking, I'm just making this guy money. I'm only taking home $1,000 a week, and I'm making them $8,000. So you're like, I could just go and just open my own shop.
Yeah.
But we don't really think about the little things that are actually big things, that you guys know about. That's why I was curious to hear from you guys what it takes.
It's not even big things. It's like 10,000 little things.
Yeah, I
And
bet.
you die from 1,000 cuts. That's what it ends up being.
Yeah.
And then like it totally depends on what part of the country you are too, because some parts of the country, you just go outside and hang a sign above your garage and you have a shop. Done.
Right.
And in other parts of the country, like if you don't have the right container for this and the chemical and that chemical, and it has to be, and you have to submit paperwork to the city and you have to wait for approval. I mean, that stuff is a nightmare.
Yeah,
And for what now, if you're well capitalized when you first start, in other words, like I started with $10,000. I had saved up $10,000. I thought that was enough. $10,000 is enough. No, $10,000 was not nearly enough. $100,000. Now we're talking. Now I can get into a building. I can put a down payment maybe on a building that I'm going to purchase, or I can get into a good lease and I can buy my equipment and hit the ground running. Be able to put a good marketing campaign together and get all my ducks in a row and be able to get good quality technicians very quickly and be able to pay them for a while we get everything ramped up and then hit the ground running.
Right.
But instead, everybody thinks, well, I'll just do the work myself. The problem is, because you're undercutting everybody's price, you're going to get some people out of the woodwork.
Right.
And these are the absolute. They've been fired from every other shop. And now they're coming. They're like that. They jump from brand new shop to brand new shop. That's what they do. Trust me, I had to deal with them. Like first 2 years I'm open, that was my entire customer base because I opened with 0 customers. And these people, like they prey on you. And if they, and I always feel bad for everybody. And so I'm like, okay, I'll do it for that. And, trust me, it takes time. If you have to pay the bills this week, you'll take that job for $350 that should be $600, or maybe you don't know it should be $600, but you'll do it for $350 because you just need money coming in. And and so a lot of these people end up like they almost hold you hostage. And can you put my parts on this time? Can you just add stop leak? Can you and you're doing repairs that you don't want to do in a manner that you're not dictating the repair process. And it's just because you need money in the door. And so that's who your customers are for the first however long. Eventually, though, you start to get busy enough that the phone calls won't stop. You can't get any work done because you're just sitting on the phone all day. You're frustrated because, man, I can't get my work done. And so your hours end up stretching. So where you were open like 8 to 5, now you're staying there till 8, 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night just to get the work done so you can sit on the phone the next day, the entire day. So we see this all the time in the shop owners group is, do I hire a tech? Do I hire a service advisor? I just can't answer the phone any longer. And everybody tells them, raise your rates. And what are you better at, working on cars or talking to customers? Decide whether you're going to be a tech or a service advisor. But you need to shift your roles. And I'm just telling you like that. If you don't walk in with enough money, that ends up being your next 2 years, and it ends up and sometimes longer because some people don't get out of it. They end up going 3, 4, 5+ years, and it ruins marriages. It alienates you from your kids. Like it can ruin lives because you feel beholden to the customer,
and you don't even have time to run the business, right? We talk about it in just about every single episode. In the E-Myth, he brings up the fact that the job of running a bakery is not the job of baking cupcakes, right? It's a different job. And so the skills that make us good at working on a car, right? Like the money aspect of it is probably the smallest aspect because the job that makes us good at working on a car does not automatically make us good at running a business that works on cars.
Right.
And something that you said that stands out to me just a minute ago is, the owner's back there crunching numbers. I felt very much the same way, right? Because I was the tech, I was the service writer, I was the bathroom cleaner, the whole 9 yards, right?
Right.
And so I came into this role and everybody was saying, look, dude, you have got to be at the helm of the ship. You cannot run the ship from the engine room. Get out of the engine room. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? I need to make sure these cars are fixed right. And I need to make sure these clients are taken care of on the front counter, and the price is what I feel is right. Right? But really quickly, what I began to realize, and now I see other people in the same predicament, is that is the most important job the leader has. Because if you don't know if the business is profitable, if you don't know that the business is sustainable, I couldn't imagine working for somebody coming in and them saying, "Hey, listen, I am really sorry, but we do not have enough money to pay you this week."
Ooh.
Right? That makes me sick to even think about it.
Oh yeah.
I've been there.
And so,
dude, I've bounced the text check.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, if the job doesn't, you get to that point, man. I'm just telling you, like,
yeah.
if that job doesn't go out the door, paychecks aren't going to clear. And like sometimes the OpEx account runs a little low. Like it's running a little low this week, but I've got money. Like I will never be in that situation again. I've got lots of money stashed away. But I've been in situations where I didn't have the extra money. Like that paycheck, that car was the paycheck, and something goes wrong. That bolt doesn't come out, or it breaks off, or whatever, and all of a sudden you have to carry that car over, and those paychecks don't clear. Like, what do you do?
Yeah,
right.
And it's awful.
My point.
Like, it is awful. That feeling is just, it is the absolute worst.
And I guess my point in saying all that is that is something that not being at the helm of the ship, not being in the office, learning to manage the business and run the business, that's what that creates. And yeah, getting started, you may just be there no matter what you do. But, I guess it's this misinterpretation that folks have that, hey, I'm a great tech, I'm going to be a great business owner. Nah, it's a different skill set. You have to.
I don't think they think like that, though. I think they think I'm just going to keep all the money. I'm not even a quote unquote.
I'm just going to go out and fix cars.
Yeah, I'm just going to go out and fix cars. The problem though is when they get into their facility, it's like, okay, the electricity bill shows up, and you cut a check or whatever, and it goes out. Then the gas bill hits, and the water bill, then the wastewater bill, then the trash shows up, and you know what? I need to look up torque specs. I really liked all data. I'm going to look up all that. Hey, how much is all that? $150 a month, or whatever happens to be. You're like, okay, well, I guess I'll cut a check for that too. You know what? All that didn't have complete information, or I really need to look this up somewhere else, or, the wiring diagram doesn't show what I need it to show. I need OE wiring diagram. Who has OE wiring diagram? Oh, maybe I can look up Mitchell. Maybe it's, what's the other one? The one that Tanner pushes.
Motologic.
Motologic, yeah. Maybe I have to use Motologic or whatever. But then you're like, maybe you're getting by with a baby handheld scanner, or you bought your own scanner, but you know what? Now it's update time, and that's $1,000, $1,500, right? Or you need some function on the scan tool that before, if you're at the dealership, you just went and got the OE scan tool, where now you're like, hey, there's no function on here for the scan tool that the Snap-on guy sold me that told me to do absolutely everything.
Oh, yeah.
What the crap do I do? And you get online and, get into one of these tech groups and like, I need this bi-directional control. And they're like, oh, pick up on an Autel. Well, which Autel? Oh, the $5,000 one or the $4,000 one. It's like, well, okay, well, I don't have $4,000. I'm going to finance it. And then that's like, for me, that got me. That got me, because it turned into, I need that tool. Okay, how much is it? It's $3,000. Well, I don't have $3,000 in the bank, so you know what? I'll make money on that tool. It'll be fine. Let's go ahead and finance. You're making weekly payments, and those weekly payments turn it from $25 a week to $100 a week to $300 a week to $1,000 a week that you're making payments, and you're like, man, I don't. How did this even happen?
Meanwhile, you still have to pay for your house.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, we're just talking shop, dude. We're just talking shop. Yeah, and these little bills start to add up. And now, and here's what really got me. I didn't want to say no for two reasons. Why? It was pride, right? I wanted to be the shop that they could trust and come to. And so I didn't want to tell them, no, I'm sorry, I don't have the equipment to do this. And definitely not after I'd already gotten into the job, right? Or gotten into the inspection or into the diagnostic process or whatever, where I have to call them and say, hey, I just don't have the equipment for this. Or I don't have the ability to do what I need to do because I just haven't made the purchase yet. So I would call the tool guy. I still do that today, but I'll call the tool guy and be like, hey, I need this. and they would ship it over, and then we would just put it on a finance plan or credit or whatever happens to be. And so that ate me up. So I didn't want to say no. And you perpetually think that you can make money. Like, well, I'll make money on this, no big deal. And man, you end up with a back room full of junk that you're like, well, I used that once 7 years ago, never used it again. I'm glad I spent $800 on that.
Completely irrelevant now. It wouldn't work on anything.
Yeah, it doesn't work on anything anymore.
So here's my question for both of you, and not so much you, Tech, but David especially, is the trap I found myself in. I did exactly what you're talking about, like to the T. I mean, it's identical to the first few years of business for me. But the next big thing for me is that I got in my head, if I just fixed all the cars, right? If I just fix the cars, I'm going to make money, right? The whole purpose of having a shop is to fix cars. And so I got on this kind of tunnel vision, if you will. And the whole thing that I did every single day was try and fix all the cars in every car. And it wasn't until I hired a shop coach. No, I think it was you that told me first, maybe. I can't remember, David, but it's kind of like you realize when you fix all the cars, you're out of business, right? Like when there's no more cars to fix, you're done for. Oh,
well, that was a pride thing for me. Like you just wanted to be the man, right? You just wanted to be the go-to.
Well, I get it. But the problem that I'm trying to highlight in saying that is that fixing cars doesn't make a business profitable. You can fix all the cars you want. You could fix 100 cars a day and the business could still flounder financially.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not about fixing cars. It's about fixing cars profitably. And I think as a tech coming in, it's kind of tough because how much it is to fix that car.
And here's the thing that gets frustrating is like you don't know how to price things properly, right?
Yeah.
You have no idea how to price things properly. You think it looks right to you. You have no idea, right? Because you don't know the math behind the pricing. And even then, certain repairs just have a premium on them.
Yep.
Because of, difficulty of work, the type of car, this, that, and the other. You have no idea though. You're just like,
discount your knowledge because you just feel like it's not fair.
That's the other thing. Absolutely, you discount your knowledge. You discount your knowledge. You discount the equipment you just paid. The other thing too, I was going to say is, you buy the equipment because you want to keep the car there, and that's the other thing. You need the money. You're like, this should turn into, whatever. You end up selling $100 in Diag, and you're like, okay, well, I need the $100, but because I've already put time into this, right? I'm already 30, 45 minutes, an hour into this Diag, and I've hit a brick wall where I need a piece of equipment to go further. And this could turn into, because I think it's this, right? This could turn into a $500, $600, $700, $800 repair, and I need the money. So I don't want this car to walk out the door with me unable to service it properly. So you absolutely go out and buy whatever crazy piece of equipment you think you need in order to make the determination to then be able to sell the work to the customer. Now, not a lot of shops do that. Some shops just guess because they don't have the equipment, they don't have the knowledge, and they just guess. And they end up ruining the industry perception for the customer because they think everybody does that. No. We don't do that.
Free testing for everyone.
Yeah. It's not even the free testing, because even if you sell dye, what I'm just talking about, not being able to present to the customer an evidence-based plan or an evidence-based repair. It's just like, well, I can't verify that part's bad because I don't have the equipment. So I'm just going to tell them that's what it is. Or, hey, I'm going to roll the Diag into the repair because you just wanted to get it out and look at it. Or this may have happened once or twice or 50 times. You throw the part on there and hope it fixes the car, and then afterwards hope they'll buy the repair.
Right. And then have to take it back
that
off.
Crank sensor turned out to be bad. I know for sure it's bad. If the car will start and run, it's $500 to do. I don't have the $500. I'm just going to tow it back to my house. Like, wait, what? Why would you bring it to me if you weren't going to fix it? Well, I thought it was going to be like $200 to fix. And like,
oh, so here we stand. We're 23 minutes in. I have heard Tech mumble in his head 3 different times now. I don't know, guys. I don't think that's such a good idea. What are the positives And tell us your thoughts, right? You're from the outside looking in. You're hearing us ramble and rage on about how horrible it is. What are your thoughts?
Well, you guys are definitely dream crushers.
You know us well.
You must be a listener of the podcast.
I'm coming at the perspective of a technician at a dealership. I've never worked at an independent shop, so I'm used to having a service manager just, constantly, we need this, we need these numbers, we need to hit these numbers. Every week you're just getting berated with how you have to hit these numbers so he can make his paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
And, I've worked with guys that would literally get their numbers and then come in with new cars, just like you were saying earlier, and just pull it on in the shop, and then the technicians just get frustrated with that. And that's when they start thinking, maybe I should open my own shop.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, but like I said, we don't think about this stuff that you guys are talking about. Like, should I buy an existing shop? Should I, I don't know.
Now that, if I were to go back and do this again, and I just got it in my head that I absolutely needed to open a shop, I would probably start looking for a mismanaged, well-equipped shop with a good location.
Absolutely.
And then try to buy it on the cheap.
Yeah. Well, and I think we all push for numbers.
But that's relative,
not so much
by the way. Sorry, Lucas. That's relative, by the way. The cheap is still, you're going to need like $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 just to put down to get the loan to then, and then you may not even get the loan because they look at the business and they're like, oh, no.
Right. Well, here's the thing is that I think that every owner eventually gets to the point that they push their tech like that. Now, I do mine for a different reason. I push really hard because they're taken care of very well without their bonuses. Yet, I like for them to get their bonuses. I like for them to earn more. I like for them to see what they're capable of, right?
Right.
I like for them to meet their potential because they feel better, right? You can truly see a difference in their morale and their mentality when they see what they're truly capable of. We drive and we push each other to be the best we can be. We train hard, we work hard, we play hard, right? That's just how we are. And so I don't think there's anything wrong with pushing numbers as long as the team is rewarded for pushing numbers, right? I think that's important. But
he's on flat rate. Like, he's going to get rewarded bullshit. Because it'll be more.
That's complete bullshit. You know what I think about that?
The flat rate thing? Yeah, when it's slow, but when it's like, it's all
that's true.
It's all R&R work coming in. Like,
and he said he gets all gravy work.
I'm not doing bad. I'm not complaining. I like flat rate. I've never been paid hourly. I couldn't. If I went to work and just made 40 hours and worked my ass off during those 40 hours, because when you're flat rate, you feel like if I ain't got nothing to do, then I'm going to do whatever I want.
Right.
I'm going to sit on the toilet and watch YouTube videos, in the air conditioning. Right. But if you're hourly, you feel more like a slave to the dealership.
Maybe
you have to be doing something all the time.
Really interesting point. Really interesting point. I don't know if you guys have seen this, and it was actually in a used car dealer group on Facebook, and the owner of the used car dealership was looking for toilet seats that were super uncomfortable to prevent that.
Yeah.
Swear to God. Like, he wanted to make sure that the toilet seats were uncomfortable. I've never seen somebody like specifically request what's the most uncomfortable toilet seat you could find. That was fascinating to me. I couldn't understand why, and I guess I know now, but
I believe it, man. You walk in the bathroom, you see the same shoes. You know what I mean? Same shoes every time you go in there. You go wash your hands, you come out, you work on something, you go back in to wash your hands. That guy's still sitting there.
Yeah.
Shoe buddy.
Shoe buddy. Yeah, but here's the thing. Like, so we don't push nearly that hard. That's a lot of work and a lot of stress. The only reason why I would push to try to get something done is, especially during the week, like, hey, let's get this done. And I shouldn't say that. Like, I come in the mornings, especially if we're busy and I know that we've got a bunch of appointments coming in, we got to get these inspections done. I need to get them processed and sent to the customer. So we're set up. I come into the morning wired and like, I'm ready to rock and roll. And I'll start pushing. I'm on top of everybody. Let's go. But it's never for the numbers. It's always because I don't want to upset the customer. I don't want to give them a bad experience. I want to get the car back to them as quickly as I can, feasibly, right?
Right.
But as approvals start to come in and the loaners start to go out, I tend to relax and go, it gets done when it gets done. But that first rush of cars, I'm pushing. But I don't think I've ever pushed just to hit some arbitrary number that,
I could see it differently as a independent shop because you're more of a tight knit family. You're the owner. You're there. You guys are buddies. With your techs and your advisors and stuff like that. But when you're at a dealership, it's like you're just a number. Like I literally have a tech number, and that's what I write. I don't write my name on the RO. I put my tech number.
Oh, geez.
So you're just a number.
Does it appeal to you to be part of a family like that?
Yeah, that was going to be my question.
I mean, a team is what you want to work with, obviously.
Yeah.
But it depends on, like, I'm at an American dealership now. So we all get specific jobs. Somebody does transmissions. That's all they do. Somebody does engines, stuff like that. I was at a foreign dealership before and everybody did everything.
Right.
So if you're buddy with the dispatcher, you'll get the gravy work. You'll get the timing belts, the brake jobs and stuff like that. While the guy he's not buddy with gets the rattles and the squeaks and stuff like that. So I couldn't see that happening when you have a really tight team at a independent shop where everybody actually works together. You're not just there to make your own money.
Yeah, we're all just trying to solve the problem, and we pass it back and forth, and we're like, "Hey, what do you think of this? What do we all work together."
Yeah.
I had a tech that had to leave early today, so here I am. I'm the owner crawling underneath the vehicles out on the deck in the pouring rain because that's what the owner does.
That doesn't happen at the dealership.
I'm going to tell you what. I will not ask anybody in my facility to do something I wouldn't do myself. Right.
Right.
Yeah,
most mornings you find me cleaning the toilets,
That's sort of I can see the appeal of having the anonymity to be just a number. And
that's interesting. I agree.
It's almost, well, I mean, it creates callousness almost. And I'm not saying that about you in particular, but I'm just saying like it could definitely create callousness. Like if you don't have some almost a connection with the customer, you don't, it's easy to just, I don't know, could not duplicate. There you go, hand it back. And, the service advisor has to deal with it. And I'm not going to deal with this any longer. I test drove it. The noise wasn't there. I don't know what to tell you. And then there you go, out the door it goes. And there's no, I don't know, maybe I'm over empathetic, but you don't have to deal with that. You don't have the owner coming in going, look, some little old lady, she insists it's there. Can we put a little bit more time and effort into this to try to find the noise? Do I need to come in and like sit in the back and bounce up and down? Let's figure out what we need to do to get this inspected or diagnosed. You're not going to get that at a dealership, and that's almost appealing. You're like, if it comes back, it comes back. If not, it is what it is.
Because it's about the numbers.
Yeah.
Not about people.
Right. It's just about numbers. And it all depends on the director that you're working for. Some of them, they won't come out there and work on the car, but they'll actually make the shop foreman come and help you. While others just say, just fix it. Just fix it or do whatever you can. Then you got, inexperienced guys just throwing parts at it because we don't think about how much these parts cost or if this car comes back. It's not really affecting us. We got paid already. You know what I mean?
So let me ask you this. You're paid well, right?
Right.
And you seem pretty happy with the configuration that is your shop right now.
The one I'm at now, yes.
Right. Why would you go and start your own shop? What's the primary objective behind doing so? And B, what do you think's wrong with our industry?
Ooh. uh, the reason I would start my own now is just to do my own thing, basically. You know,
Right.
fabrication, race car stuff, and servicing vehicles. And to be able to promote it on social media and stuff like that. Like right now, you see a lot of guys that were dealership technicians, they quit. Now they do their own thing and they're just blasting it all over social media. So they get a lot of views and followers and stuff like that, which generates income through advertisements and stuff like that.
Hold on. Time out. No, it does not. Okay.
You don't think so?
It is.
No,
I'm not.
no.
I don't. It's not a think thing. Man, I'm just telling you right now that if they live on social media, they're trying to get that one car, which they'll get in, they'll fix, and out the door, and then they live on social media till they get the next car.
Right.
All those guys blasting, like, just constant live videos, this, that, and the other. The reason why they're doing that is they got nothing else to do. And maybe they're just like being on social media, but they got nothing else to do. Look, busy shops don't have time to sit on social media. Busy shops hire people to get on social media for them, or they get, they hire a marketing agency or whatever. And that's where you see the generic posts and all that stuff there. That's because they're busy working on cars. The guys that are all over social
and
media,
running the business, and
they're running the business. They maybe they do some aspect of the marketing, but they're busy.
I think he was saying though that through sponsorship or through the just having a video of something cool.
It's more of on the racing side, not car servicing side.
Okay,
fabrication,
side, sure.
Stuff like that. That's what I mean, but.
That's
think
more your world, Lucas. I mean, when you were doing diesel performance stuff, were you taking videos of all the black smoke coming out and burning up the back wheels? And did you do all that?
There were a few, but I mean, at the time, social media really wasn't what it is now, right?
Yeah.
And when I began to transition out of performance is when I actually started making money, and that was kind of my next point. Is that a lot of folks come into shop ownership saying, "Oh, I want to work on what I want to work on. I want to build fast cars. I want to build fast trucks." But the reality is you've got a different clientele. You've got a clientele who has already done research and they already think they know what it takes and how much it should cost to do that. B, you've got a clientele who might be willing to pay you to do some of this stuff, but when it comes to fabrication, when it comes to performance, to do the job that you need to do and be profitable, most builds you're talking over $100,000.
Oh yeah,
right. I mean, let's be real about it. A true engine job that you're going to build in a performance sense, and you're going to drop it in a car and put it in, make it look neat and clean the car up and get things situated in it. You're probably talking 2 to 3 weeks. Right? I mean, that is a fortune in labor time. The only true valuable thing you have to offer is your labor inventory. Right? And I think that was such a powerful thing for me to learn, is that you have limited labor inventory. And see, I was the guy who I came in here and I liked fast diesel trucks and I wanted them to be perfect. Right? So I was paid to put a crank seal in a truck, and then, and that valve cover's leaking, so I'm going to fix the valve cover. And the tappet cover's leaking, I'm going to fix the tappet cover. I hear that little bit of noise. Let's rotate the top. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Next thing you know, I've got 40 or 50 hours in this thing, and the truck is amazing, right? It drives better than it's ever driven before, but I didn't get paid for any of it. Right? I did it because I wanted to do it. I did it because I enjoyed doing it. And I really liked providing this killer product. But when I began to talk to them about charging them for fixing those things, nobody wanted to pay for that. They all wanted perfection. They all wanted a badass ride, but nobody really wanted to pay for it. And the thing was, is the majority of the clients were not your middle-aged or older gentlemen who want a badass ride, right? Because they'll go buy something new that's under warranty and they'll take it back to the dealership and say, fix it.
Yep.
They were young kids. And so I saw that the performance world just wasn't profitable. I'm sure there's people who make it profitable. Cash Choate is a fantastic example. He does all kinds of performance work. He's got a shop. He's got an engine building company that does performance work. You know, he took it and ran with it. Garrett Shields, we talked about him in one of the last episodes. Same thing, right? Made something from the performance world, but it's not the image that most folks have for it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
I think if you're well capitalized, if you've got a good chunk of money, and you're really good with social media, I think you could make the performance thing work. You wouldn't be making money from performance. You'd be making money off of TikTok and Instagram and YouTube. Because you'd like, I don't know how many times my tech pulls up some performance video and that's what he's watching. I'm like, these videos are so stupid. And he's like, wow, look at this awesome whatever, this LS that they built and they stuck in this thing here and this, that, and the other. And he's like, oh, we should do more of that here. Like, you're nuts. that guy is not making money on that build. That guy's not making money on any of that.
Yeah.
He's making money on the ads that you're watching.
Yep.
That's it. Like, he's going to make a few $1,000s on this video and a few thousand on the next one. And that's how he's going to pay the bills. And I guess that'd be okay. But if you talk to the diag guys that are on YouTube, like Mario Rojas and Cody, I mean, it takes hours to edit a video and then put it up on YouTube and then hope it gets views. I mean, these guys do it as a labor of love. They're not making huge amounts of money on YouTube. Maybe they will at one point. At someday they hit 100,000 plus subscribers, but this is a hella niche. So there's only, like, Mario hit 10,000 I think subscribers the other day.
Yeah, that's all.
I mean, that's wildly impressive. Trust me, I've been dealing with a YouTube channel for almost a year. I don't think we've hit 1,000 subscribers yet. It's really hard, especially something as big as YouTube. But even if you wanted to do something on TikTok or whatever, it's a ton of work. It is a ton of work on top of having to do the actual work of fixing the car. You're doing pretty much video production with the side of fixing cars. But you still have to fix the car at the end of the day. I don't know. I mean,
you'd have to hire somebody to do one or the other.
You'd have to hire more than one person because you're going to have somebody shooting to check the lighting, this, that, and the other. And I mean, you can do the shaky cam thing for a while, but eventually, like, that doesn't scale. There's tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of channels out there on YouTube where there's 30 subscribers, and the guy has 45 videos on his YouTube channel, and it's all like shaky cam diagnostics. And it's like, dude, get a tripod. Just start there. And the reason being that they're diagnosticians, they're not video producers. And so they don't know how to edit. They don't know how to, what kind of lighting and color grading and, how to make your cuts properly so it looks nice and smooth. Like, you don't know how to do any of that. That's more work. That's like another skill set they have to learn. Some of them push to get it done. Like, I think Mario's videos are very good.
I like them.
But there are lots of them out there that are not at all good. They're awful. Yeah. It's good information. They're fantastic text, but man, I don't know. They're unwatchable.
Social media is tough.
It really is. It truly
sucks. It's awful. It's absolutely awful. Can't say what you want to say. People look at you funny. Everybody wants to argue, even though
I don't think that has anything to do with social media when it comes to
Whatever.
What do you guys think the future is of this business as far as keeping techs and getting new techs?
I think for the most part we're screwed.
Yeah.
I in a lot of ways I kind of agree with David. I think the challenges we have or we're up against are in some ways insurmountable. I think, one of the common themes that we've had here on the show is, why do good techs stay at bad shops? And why do
I'll
good
tell you
shops
why.
keep
Hold on.
bad techs?
Well, they keep bad techs because they need to pay the bills, and the
Yep.
techs pay the bills. But the reason why a lot of good techs stay in bad shops is because they don't have a lot of options. So we opened up, Lucas, right? We opened
Mhm.
up and reached out and said, hey, if you're tech listening to this and you want to get out of a bad shop, you want to find a better opportunity. And a lot of techs listen to the podcast, and I'm very happy about that. But some of them idealize what it's like to work at my shop and what it's like to work at Lucas's
Yeah.
shop. Just looking at Lucas's setup, the way his shop is laid out. I mean, his new shop's going to be gorgeous. It'll be Taj Mahal. But now you're like, hey, it's got to go to
tough.
the upstairs bay, and you got to push it up this. Get out of here! Like, no,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
out.
tough.
And at my shop, we've got our challenges too. Trust me. So, there's good and bad everywhere, but I think for a tech to want to move away from a situation where the ownership or the leadership within the shop doesn't give two craps about them, and they're like, I want to be something. I want to be part of something bigger. I want to build something bigger, and become a better technician, but have it grow within the entire organization. I've had a bunch of techs reach out to me asking for just that. They're like, hey, find me a shop. I need to get out of here. This owner
Yeah.
will not buy a scan tool. I've already bought my own. We need to upgrade. They don't want to pay for the update. They're getting mad at me because I'm unable to diagnose vehicles and they're not providing me the proper equipment. I don't want to go back to the dealership. I want to find an independent repair shop that appreciates what we do as technicians. Okay,
Right.
great. No problem. That's fantastic. I'm glad you reached out. So then you start reaching out to some shop owners. You get on ASOG and you say, hey, I got a technician ready to move, 30-mile radius of this town. Somebody help me out. Flippin' crickets.
Yep.
I get nothing. And if I do happen to get somebody who says, yeah, I'm looking for somebody, you get on the phone with them, it's 1,000 questions. How many hours can they produce? I have no idea. What kind of experience do they have? They Toyota, Lexus, they're Toyota Lexus certified. They've got their A1 through A8 ASE certification. The guy sounds smart as hell. Why don't you give him a shot? Like, go just have a conversation with him. Man, I don't know. I guess, maybe I'll just talk to him on the phone and feel him out. These shop owners have zero interviewing skills. They have no idea. There's no idea what to ask, how to identify talent, how to see potential. They haven't taken any classes on it. They haven't tried to take classes on it. There's 10 billion books about it. Just don't do Amazon, but Barnes and Noble or whatever, like get on there and just look up and read 3 or 4 books on interviewing. They haven't done any of that. But they think they can sit down and have it just a casual conversation with this rando tech who is reaching out. He's hurting. We need technicians in good shops. And maybe the guy runs a good shop or the gal runs a good shop. Maybe they do, maybe they don't.
Yeah.
But that's they take a laissez-faire attitude towards it. Like, oh man, we'll see. Haven't you been looking for a tech for a year? Well, yeah, but what the crap, dude? I just gave you a flipping layup. Like, lay it up.
Burnt,
what are you
man.
doing?
They've been burnt time and time again.
No, but this is different. Like, I'm sorry, this is not the tool guy saying, hey, I know a guy down the street. This is not the same thing. These are engaged technicians. They're sending me like a decent amount of information about their abilities, their technical knowledge. Like, holy crap. If I got that resume, these techs that are reaching out, if I got that resume and they were anywhere in the Kansas City, I'm going to find some room for them. Or, hey, you know what? I never really liked you. You got to go. Hey, new guy, come on in. I'm just kidding. I wouldn't do that. That's awful. But I'm just saying, like, it's different. It's absolutely different. And you try to explain that to the shop owner. I've tried to get on the phone with these guys and explain to them, look, we're doing this podcast. It's decently popular. And lots of technicians are listening. These are the most engaged technicians in the industry. These are guys that care about their craft. They're trying to get better. They're trying to learn, right? Because you can see it in the comment section of the YouTube channel. And right, Lucas? I mean,
Absolutely.
you reply to 90% of them. You see these comments in the and some of them are old timers that are out of the industry, or some people that are just interested in the automotive industry, but a lot of them are young, hungry techs. And the shop owner's like, yeah, that sounds good. Like, holy crap, dude. Like, we're trying to do a paradigm shift here. Like, what are you doing? Help. No, they don't want to help. You know what they want to do? Get on Facebook and bitch how they can't find any flipping techs. Well, you know what?
it.
Screw you. You're going to end up choking out and dying like every other shop that can't find techs and keep techs because they haven't put any time and effort into learning how to be a better manager or learning how to take care of their people. They haven't put any effort. It's a skill like anything else. You have to learn how to do it, and then you have to practice it on a daily basis to get better at it.
I wish
they don't do it.
I wish a dealership service director would speak like you just did and have that common sense.
I can't speak to service directors, but I'm calling out these flipping shop owners. I get so frustrated because I'm like, really no comments? And then, then you get back on there and you're like, really no comments? Then you get back on there and blasting everybody like, hey, tag this person. Hey, tag this person. Didn't you just post that you needed a tech? Aren't you within like 15 miles of this tech? Like, what the crap, dude? No, nothing. Oh, well,
Crickets.
I'm not looking for that kind of guy. Like, maybe he's too expensive and this, like, yeah, they're going to be expensive. It's a freaking tech market. Like, what have you been paying attention to for the last, like, 5 years? You think you can dictate the salaries? Yep. Like, no, you're not. If you want, like, A-level techs, you got to pay A-level prices for your area, by the way. And so it is what it is. Dude, the guy's going to make you more money than you're going to pay him. That's just the way it is. You're gonna make more money,
right?
Common sense, yes. The guy, it's costing you $30,000 to $40,000 to $50,000 a month not to have him there, right? Yep. You're not paying him that. The guy's not making $300,000 a year, so just get him in there.
What say you, Tech?
That sounds good to me. Not a number at the independent shop, right?
That's it.
But so, I'm just saying, like, these that's where I'm saying we're screwed, because even if you try, or like Jay Ginnanen, like he's trying to do the recruiting service, but in the episode you had with him, Lucas, he said it himself. Like, there's a lot of shops out there I can't send people to.
Yeah, exactly.
Because like I can't send you somebody. Like, you're not a shop I can send, and that's going to end up being the majority of shops. And the only thing that's going to get these shops out of business, these garbage shops out of business, and not like dirt floor shops. Like, they're just garbage people, and that's it. The only thing that's going to get them out of business is the tech pool drying up for them.
Exactly. And that's the thing is that I think techs have to stop. When they pretty much walk out, right? I think that's when that happens. And I understand why they don't, right? I get it. You got a family to provide for. So, Tech, here we are. We're at the end of the episode, or something like that.
We end it when we want.
Right, pretty much. What do you take away from this? What is your takeaway from this episode? Now that you've heard our perspective on this, what do you come back with?
I think any dealership technician or independent technician like me that's thinking about how they can quit where they're at and start their own shop will have learned a lot from this episode about the ins and outs. And as far as keeping new technicians, like, from what I've noticed, when we hire a new guy, we don't train them.
Yep.
That's the main thing. They just throw them in there. When I worked for a, what am I going to say here? foreign dealership.
Mm-hmm.
I was there for 17 years, and then I left because they were making us work Sundays and 3 Saturdays
What?
a month. Oh yeah, that's why I left. I had enough of that. But I went to an American dealership, and they saw that I have all these years experience, but I've been working on the same cars, you know?
Right.
So I went over to that dealership, just got thrown to the wolves. Every day I'd get at least 6 tickets handed to me at a time, 6 cars.
Holy cow.
And they just expected me to know what I'm doing. Nobody trained me. It's like, yeah, I know how to turn wrenches, but I don't know how to work on these specific cars. So I broke door panels. I broke all kinds of stuff. So you have to train these guys. You can't just, the dealership wise, they just hire somebody, throw them at them, just throw them right to the wolves, expect them to do something. You know, you got guys dropping cars off lifts. You know, somebody's gonna kill themselves there. It's not
Yep.
it's not
It's not
safe.
just dealerships. The independent repair shops do it too. They
Really?
have a guy that comes in. Oh, absolutely. They got a guy comes in. Now, you know, it's a combination of I'm busy and I need to get these cars out the door, and also the tech misrepresents what they know.
Yeah.
Right.
And so that collides in an independent repair shop, and you're handed 6 tickets and you're just expected to know. And none of them are the same car, by the way. It's a Ford and then a Toyota, then a BMW, then, you know, and they're, hey, you told me you had 6 years experience at an independent repair shop. It's like, yeah, but I just did alignments and oil changes there. It's like, why didn't you tell me that in the interview? Well, you didn't ask, but whatever, right? You just wanted to hear what you wanted to hear. And then now what do you do with them? Well, they end up firing them or whatever. And then the guy gets hired on an HVAC company and he's gone. Never to come back into the industry again. We screwed up, and he could have been talented. Who knows? But it is what it is. I'm telling you, that's happening all the time.
Wow.
Well, and here's the thing. It is the young kids, the apprentices, the people who are trying to come into the trade get stuck on that tire machine, get stuck on the lube bay.
Yep.
Never get put with an older, more experienced, seasoned tech to begin to learn, right? And the other thing is that we've got to train as a whole, right? And so my biggest message to anyone who wants to start their own shop, slow down. Slow the hell down.
Yeah.
And go to some management training. Maybe go ahead and hire a consultant or a coach.
At least to help get one on the phone, a good one.
Yeah.
Not a
to
company.
Help you configure the business.
Coach.
Yeah. Help you configure the business starting out. Learn how it's supposed to be, because you can't back yourself into a corner with clients, because they'll always expect that. And so learn from the get-go, right? Go out and attend some training, go to some seminars, find information before you start.
Yeah.
Right?
That's good advice. Management training before.
Yeah. And build a business plan around that. Start with a business plan. Don't jump out and say, there's a garage down the street. I'm going to rent that bad boy and we're going to work. Right?
That's how we think.
It doesn't work. I promise it doesn't work. You can struggle for 10 years and make it work, but it doesn't have to be this miserable shit show of a process.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be that way. You don't have to sacrifice your family. You don't have to sacrifice your marriage. You don't have to sacrifice your retirement and your savings. There's a way, look, I tell this story a lot. When I attended ASTE for the first time, I walked into a class with Rick White, and it was like he was talking to me. He said, I know you're all stressed out, and I know you all have challenges, but if you will listen to me for the next 45 minutes, I promise I can make things better for you, because there is a way that an independent repair shop can be ethical and profitable. There is a system, a process that works. And it's not my process. It's a process that's been used for years and years by shops all over the country. It just works. If I had known that 5 or 6 years before I went to that class, I'd be a multimillionaire today. Right? But instead, I spent years pissing money away. I spent years neglecting my family and my wife, all for this concept of I thought I was helping my clients. Guess what? My clients didn't care.
Yeah, they didn't care. They didn't care that you stayed late and you missed dinner.
Yeah.
They didn't care that you stayed late to finish
bit.
that job and missed your son's first birthday.
Yeah.
They don't care.
Doesn't matter at all to them.
Yeah. They just want their car back.
Exactly. And so at the end of the day,
I believe
it. If you want to do this, reach out and get some help first. Do it the right way. Don't do it the hard way.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode of the ASOG podcast. If you'd like to catch these episodes early, you can do so by becoming a patron. Just go to asog.site and click on the Become a Patron Now button. Becoming a patron helps support the show, gets you several perks, and is tax deductible. Make sure you're subscribed to the podcast and on YouTube so you never miss any of our upcoming episodes. And as always, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, shoot me an email. My email address is david@asog.site. That's DAVID @ASOG.SITE. Until next time.